inanity happening in the conversation. Like, these are not clever people. This is not like having tea with Maureen Callahan.
Or Meghan Kelly.
No, truly. And so everything is heavily produced with track.
I decided to elevate my day and yours by having Maureen come over.
3 words changed everything for Meghan Markle. With love, Meghan. Not her own words, but a 5-minute parody that sent her legal team into overdrive. A woman who once faced down the British tabloids, who survived Oprah interviews and Netflix documentaries, who weathered royal family drama on a global stage, brought to her knees by a comedy sketch. But to understand how we got here, we need to step inside the carefully curated world Meghan built for herself in Montecito.
Like, whole wheat toast with estate honey? Estate honey. Honey from her goddamn estate.
For years, Meghan Markle's public image has been her fortress. Every photo filtered to perfection, every Spotify anecdote precisely scripted, every chicken coop moment staged for maximum relatability. She transformed from struggling actress to royal duchess to global influencer, each reinvention more polished than the last. Her brand became control itself, control over narrative, control over perception, control over every single frame of her existence.
What was Diana like? You know, she goes, oh, how sweet. I'll have to tell H about it.
Oh, God.
So already she's like levitating herself above this conversation. It's not Harry, it's H. It's my H.
Yep.
Like, I'll tell him that. We're separate over here. And by the way, presumably, isn't your husband watching this show and cheering you on?
Yeah, right.
Your big launch?
Right.
Like, you're
He's
going
not
to
doing
have
anything
to
else.
relay this to him.
Then came Meghan Kelly and Maureen Callahan with their satirical masterpiece, With Love, Meghan. The parody didn't attack Meghan's race, her motherhood, or her causes. Instead, it held up a mirror to something far more vulnerable, her contradictions. The sketch featured a Meghan caricature gliding through whisper-toned monologues about intentional chicken parenting, edible flower mindfulness, and estate honey. Estate honey from her goddamn estate, as Kelly put it with razor-sharp precision.
When they're no longer part of the royal family, the royals don't talk to them. You know, the king does not talk to his own son. None of the senior royals talk to these two. They are total pariahs in the family.
What made the parody sting wasn't its cruelty, it was its accuracy. Every perfectly muted beige kitchen shot, every artisanal jam jar, every linen napkin worth more than most people's car insurance. The video didn't invent these moments. It simply organized Meghan's own contradictions into 5 devastating minutes. And Meghan reportedly lost it behind closed doors. According to multiple sources close to her camp, this wasn't the usual passive-aggressive eye roll. This was a call the lawyers, burn the tapes, how dare they meltdown. The woman who once preached about empowering voices was now allegedly threatening to silence 2 other women for daring to use theirs.
She didn't put eye makeup on. And she also is pretending like she's crying. And we did a zero in, like we zoomed in just to see. There isn't a tear in sight, Dan. Look at this. I invite the viewers to take a close-up look at this. Where's the tear?
Here's where the irony becomes suffocating. Meghan survived South Park's brutal worldwide privacy tour episode without legal threats. She weathered that cartoon's savage mockery of her and Harry's contradictory quest for privacy while jumping in front of cameras. But a real-world parody using her actual quotes? That crossed a line she couldn't tolerate. The difference reveals everything about Meghan's psychology. South Park was animation. Distant, absurd, dismissible. But Kelly and Callahan used Meghan's own words, her own aesthetic, her own carefully constructed persona against her. They didn't create a cartoon villain, they revealed the walking contradiction hiding in plain sight. Behind palace walls, sources say there's quiet satisfaction watching Meghan's latest crisis unfold. The royals always feared she'd become a self-destructing spectacle, and now their worst predictions seem prophetic. King Charles doesn't speak to his own son anymore. None of the senior royals maintain contact with the Sussex couple. They've become total pariahs within the family they once belonged to. But the real damage isn't coming from Buckingham Palace. It's coming from Hollywood's silence. Oprah, once Meghan's most powerful ally, hasn't uttered a word. Tyler Perry, who provided sanctuary during their royal exodus, remains mysteriously quiet. Even the Obamas, who once seemed charmed by the couple's narrative, have gone radio silent. In entertainment circles, silence speaks volumes. The With Love Meghan clip exploded across social media not because of massive promotional budgets, but because people shared it organically. It struck a nerve that years of carefully managed PR couldn't protect. The sketch's most devastating moment came when Kelly and Callahan reenacted Meghan's authentic chicken coop scene. Apron perfectly arranged, hair artfully tousled, cradling an egg like a Fabergé relic while delivering lines about living simply with a helicopter pad. The picnic bench for chickens became a metaphor for everything wrong with Meghan's brand of performative authenticity. Chickens don't need picnic benches, and the public doesn't need Pinterest boards disguised as personality. The parody said what millions had been thinking but were too polite to voice. This relatable Duchess act isn't fooling anyone anymore. What terrifies Meghan isn't the mockery itself, it's losing control of her narrative. After Spotify canceled her podcast Archetypes and Netflix numbers disappointed, she pivoted again into lifestyle guru mode. Lavender lattes, linen robes, soft focus lighting, and quotes about resilience. It was Goop Light, minus the devoted following or successful sales figures. Megyn Kelly's response to Meghan's alleged legal threats has been pure steel, calm, sharp, and utterly unapologetic. Kelly has weathered political storms, cancel culture attempts, and media controversies that would destroy lesser careers. A defamation threat over a comedy sketch? It's like bringing a tiara to a street fight. Kelly's microphone stays hot, and now she has even more material. The Streisand effect kicked in with devastating force. Had Meghan ignored the sketch, it would have lived quietly on Kelly's channel, enjoyed by her audience and maybe a few political commentators. But by threatening legal action, Meghan triggered a viral explosion. The clip has been reposted, analyzed, memed, and stitched across every social platform. Mainstream outlets from The Guardian to Variety picked up the story, and none of the coverage paints Meghan favorably. Even her most loyal supporters are getting quieter. Fewer defensive posts, less outrage, more confusion. How do you defend someone who claims to champion freedom of expression while trying to censor two women for expressing themselves? The contradiction is inescapable, and Meghan's fan base is finally seeing it. Industry insiders report that Meghan's team is split on strategy. Veteran advisors are begging her to drop the legal angle, to stop pouring gasoline on a fire already consuming her brand. Newer team members, still trying to shield their employer from embarrassment, push for aggressive response. But the embarrassment already galloped out of the barn and is sitting at that infamous chicken picnic table. The timing couldn't be worse for Meghan's attempted rebrand, just as she was launching another lifestyle venture. All carefully curated wellness content nobody asked for. This legal drama attached itself to her reputation like organic honey to an overpriced linen napkin. Hollywood executives are reconsidering partnerships. Sponsors are examining spreadsheets. PR firms are asking the unthinkable. Can we work with someone who sues over satire? Harry reportedly urged Meghan to let it go, to focus on their future rather than past slights. But sources say Meghan sees this as a line in the sand, an enough is enough moment. She's deeply humiliated that her media stronghold has been breached by something as simple as observational humor. For someone who choreographs every quote, every camera angle, every step, a parody isn't just a joke. It's an existential threat. The ultimate irony, Meghan could have owned this moment. She could have laughed, posted a clever response, taken the high road, and emerged stronger. Instead, she chose nuclear overreaction, transforming a manageable jab into a full-scale reckoning. 5 minutes of satire, and her entire brand wobbles like it's built on stilts. Palace aides reportedly had a field day watching the parody, with some calling it scarily accurate. The woman who once held the world's sympathy is now being laughed at, not out of cruelty, but out of clarity. People see through the carefully manicured absurdity of her public image, and no amount of legal threats can unsee that truth. Parody has always been the price of public life. Presidents get roasted, billionaires get clowned, even Queen Elizabeth has been mimicked. Meghan wanting to be the exception isn't strength, it's delusion. She wants controlled fame, spotlight without heat, praise without parody. But the public doesn't buy curated vulnerability anymore. They want honesty, authenticity, humor, things Meghan lost touch with long ago. The lawsuit will probably disappear quietly when her legal team realizes there's no case, no damages, no hope. But the damage to her reputation is cemented. Every headline about the legal threat, every replay of the parody, every meme reshapes public perception of Meghan into something she didn't script and can't fix with filters. Meanwhile, Megyn Kelly has already moved on to her next segment, possibly preparing With Love Meghan Part 2. If Meghan doesn't wise up soon, she won't just be the target of future punchlines. She'll become the joke itself. Because here's the unfiltered truth. You don't sue parody. You outgrow it. You rise above it. You laugh at it and prove it wrong through your actions. Meghan didn't do that. She clutched her pearls, picked up the phone, and tried to silence a mirror. All she accomplished was proving the mirror was telling the truth. In the end, Meghan Markle, the woman who wrapped herself in banners of feminism, inclusivity, and freedom of speech, now threatens legal action over a skit that simply distilled her public contradictions into comedic gold. She wanted to control her narrative so completely that she forgot the most important rule of public life. If you can't laugh at yourself, everyone else will laugh at you instead. And now the world sees her exactly as she is, not the empowered duchess or relatable lifestyle guru she's tried to become, but a woman so terrified of losing control that she'd rather prove her critics right than admit they might have a point. The parody didn't destroy Meghan Markle's carefully constructed image. Her reaction to it did. What do you think? Is there a way back from this kind of public relations disaster? Or has Meghan finally revealed too much about who she really is behind all that curated perfection?